Good morning, and thanks for joining us on the Off the Scale Unfiltered podcast. Bridget and Shauna here today to talk about habits, habit change, making new habits, getting rid of shitty habits, habit time. So,
Were you
this,
dying to say that?
I actually just thought of it. So, hey,
I love
anyway,
it.
but yeah, it was very off the cuff, but it worked. So, we're going to roll with it.
Right.
So, this was Shauna's thought that we should discuss habits. I think it's perfect because we just ended the challenge and we're waiting, obviously, on the results and everything. But yeah, I think any time that you make a successful change, you had to change some sort of habits along the way. So, Shauna, why don't you lead that off and kind of expand on that?
Where I was going with it, for instance,
Yeah.
I would say so. Oh my gosh. I was watching a reel. I'll have to find the name of the guy that fucking said it. And it's like one of those reels that said, if I'm a coach and I wasn't afraid to hurt your feelings, this is what I would say to you. Right. And he said something along the lines of your habits are hindering your progress. He's like, and obviously that was a nice way of saying it. He's like, if you want to continue eating like a fat, overweight kid, then you're never going to hit your goals. And I'm like, ow. I had to step back and lick my wounds and shit. I'm like, damn,
Yeah,
rip
like,
that
ouch.
Band-Aid off, took some
Ouch.
hair with it, And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, he saw me eating all the fucking candy and shit. But
The
like
chocolate
that,
chips.
all the chocolate chips. You know what? I've been good about the chocolate chips, but let me tell you, that motherfucker in my house bought the Oreo cookies again. We all know who I'm talking about. So he bought Oreo cookies and then he's been buying M&Ms with peanuts in it. And I don't like peanut butter. Peanuts are fine. And I'm sure that's going to sound really weird on the fucking recording right now. So the habits that I'm talking about is like, so we just got done with the challenge, right? And what you're supposed to do is continue on after those 12 weeks, whatever your goals are. So maybe you have more weight to lose. Maybe you want to start going into a muscle building phase, or maybe you want to recomp, or maybe you just want to hang out in maintenance and say, you know what, I'm kind of tired right now, and this is what I need to do. Whatever habits you developed, and I hopefully they were good ones, during those 12 weeks is what you should be carrying on for the next 12 weeks and for the 12 weeks after that. So that's what got me started on my habits. But I've noticed with me that whenever I get I'm going to say complacent as opposed to comfortable, right? So whenever I get complacent in my, my physique and I'm like, I'm happy where I'm at. I'm lifting good. I'm getting good sleep and everything. I noticed sometimes that my habits start to trail off. And it's almost like you start pushing the envelope to see, and not in a good way, right? I'm pushing the
Mm-hmm.
envelope to see, okay, well, like when does the scale start to teeter the wrong way?
What can I get
And
away
we've
with?
talked about this before. What can I get
Mm-hmm.
away with, right? And this past week, I actually decided to take a little break. So I've been going pretty hard with 6 5-day week workouts, push pull legs and everything. It's exhausting. It is. I love it though, but it's exhausting. So my body finally got to the point where it was like, you know what? You need to fucking chill out. And I was hoping that I could last until my upcoming vacation and just take a total deload. But
Mm-hmm.
my body was at the point where it was just like, you need to back off. You're hurting right now. So
Okay.
I went to 4 days a week. This past week, I did like upper and lower for like 4 or 5 workouts. It wasn't during the same week or whatever, it just kind of rolled over. But then this past Saturday, I looked at the upper workout. I was like, I don't want to do that. So I went back to PPL and I felt better. So like for the past week, I was lifting not as heavy as I could have. And now when I went back to a PPL, I was feeling much better with it, much stronger. And I got that re-energized feeling again. So and I think like the working out, and I know that you've seen it, the working out has become a good habit. I can't go without it. I'm even thinking like when I go on vacation, I'm like, how am I going to fit in some type of workout besides walking? Because I know like carbs are going to be plentiful and they're not the good, they're not the, the fruits and vegetables or whatever. They're going to be all boardwalk shit. And it's just like, what can I do in order to sustain some type of, my muscle pumpness or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Even though I thought about going to the gym at Wildwood. You can pay for a day pass and everything. I might still do that, but I never worked out in a gym before. Like I have never lifted weights in a gym besides with a with a personal trainer.
And that was years ago. Well, give it
That
a
was years ago.
try.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't like working out in the gym either. And now Brian and I going, of course, I really love my
But you
gym,
have
but I
someone to
look
go
forward
with.
to
Like
it.
I just go, like
Mhm.
I go and I'll like look at the clothing shop. So it's the actual gym. Oh my God, what the fuck is it called? Starts with an A. Fuck. Atlas? No. I don't remember the name, but like I went there on a mission. So this was back in 2024. Tom Venuto used to work out at that gym when he was
Okay.
doing competitions and
I
shit. And
remember
he's like,
this.
yes. And
Yes.
he's
I
like, you need
remember
to go
this.
there. So I walked from where my Airbnb was to the fucking gym and back just to get a fucking sweatshirt. I love this sweatshirt, by the way. It is great quality. So I'm making a plan to go there again to get more clothing. But I'm like, do I pay for the day pass? And like 2 years ago, it was like $25 or some shit like that. But I'm like, do I pay for a day pass, get a whole, full body workout in, and then just say, hey, I did it at a gym,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, I'll tell you, I have always been kind of an anti-machine girl, but when you have a sensitive low back, if you will, it is
Yeah.
nice to add that in so that you're not constantly squatting, deadlifting, all those things. It's nice to have, like, to get on the 45-degree leg press or the leg extension or what they call the booty builder, which is basically Bulgarian split squats or deadlifts with a machine. It's weird. Brian really loves it. I'm not sure I love it. It's hard, I feel like.
Okay.
But it might be fun for you to go in and do some things that you're constantly seeing on the videos and stuff that you watch, and
I
just
know.
to try something new. I don't know. I feel like you should. And you can always hit me up and be like, what the hell is this machine?
Right. I was going to
You
say,
know?
like, I'm trying to remember the machines in there. I think they are fucking, like, it's not like a Planet Fitness or something
No.
like that. Like,
No.
I think they're like full on,
Like
like
old school stuff, right?
I think it's old school shit. Yeah.
Mhm,
And
which is
I'm
what
just
you
like,
want.
okay.
You don't need all that
Yeah.
Planet Fitness bullshit.
No,
You know?
exactly. And like, he has all these things, you know, like it's a new owner from when Tom was going there and stuff. I was like, my coach sent me here. And he's just like, oh yeah, who's your coach? I was like, Tom Venuto. And like, he didn't know who he was. I was like, actually, he wrote a couple of books, you know? And he's just
Right.
like, tell him to send, he's like, he used to work out here. I was like, I go way back, you know, in the 90s or whatever. He's like, tell him to send me an autographed picture or whatever. He's like, I'll put it up on the wall. And then I
Oh,
was just
that's
like,
cool.
I had to move my bowl before someone got it. But then I told Tom, and then he's just like, get out of here. So I'm like, he said, I don't know.
I know, right? That's funny.
But yeah, like, so it's just those things. So like going back to habits.
Yeah.
The habit I've noticed, and like, you know, maybe you can help me discern this. So like, I know my habit is snacking. I am a snacker. I've always said it. And I need to like stop snacking. It's okay to snack occasionally, but like I reach for something constantly. It's almost like
You're out of
having that
boredom. Yeah.
oral
Boredom.
fixation. Like, you know, if it
Yeah.
wasn't a snack, it would be a cigarette, right? You know,
Yeah.
it's almost like that. And, or like my lifesaver habits.
Yeah.
I figure lifesavers are a lot fucking calorie lower than chocolate chips, for instance, right?
Could you start
So it's
switching to gum? Like every other
I have
time,
gum
just chew a
too.
piece of gum?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have gum too. So once the gum wears out the flavor or whatever, it goes back to a lifesaver. I
Yeah.
almost rather have a lifesaver, but then I started thinking more about like not insulin resistance, but like constantly feeding my body with sugar. And even though my muscle is helping with said sugar, you know, there's going to come to a point where it's like, it's not helping anymore.
Well, could you alternate with the sugar-free lifesavers? You know what I mean? Not to say that you want to be
Yeah.
bombarding your system with a bunch of artificial sweetener all day long, but
Right.
you
I
know,
don't know.
it's
Or
a
like,
trade-off.
what about me just cutting the fucking habit to
That's true.
altogether?
But if you started like that, I don't know. I don't know. If it was a way, or
Is it better
say-
to wean as opposed to cold turkey? Oh, I said your name. I'm sorry. My dog's
Well-
over here. I call him Wean.
well, if you are, I think it depends on your personality. Like we've talked about
Right.
Brian quitting smoking, and you know, he just did it cold turkey one day, and that was
Me
it.
too.
And
too.
it's like, you know, so if that's your personality, that might be better for you. You did the same thing with alcohol. And I think that
Yeah.
that's something with regards to habits. Alicia E had that threat or that reel or whatever her post was. She's the midlife. I always want to say midlife maven.
Yeah.
Very ripped, 53 years old, totally changed her body composition in 4 years. But anyway, she talked about getting rid of the bad habit. Like her bad habit or unhealthy habit was alcohol. So I thought about you when I watched that she got rid of that. Brian and I we'll go up and have a beer here and there, but because he likes the non-alcoholic ones, we just don't need to do it anyhow. But go ahead.
I would say, like, I was going to say also, like, this past week, my father was visiting and everything, and, you know, he drinks. He's a smoker still, but like he limits it to 5 a day.
Okay.
And they are very timed. When 7, 10, 2, and then I think it's around 5, and then maybe 7 again, and then 10. So like they're all well timed. His day is very structured. So my brother was drinking with him, and we all know what happens when you drink. Your inhibitions come down, and he lit up a cigarette. Now, he hadn't had a cigarette since his heart attack in fucking February, and he had a couple. His girlfriend and daughters were not happy with him at all. I will say that right now. And I'm just like, why? You know, like this, and I think this is part of the reason why I don't fucking drink anymore. You know, I don't want that in there. So, and I've said it for like the past couple of years, like quitting alcohol was fucking easy. Like I was done. When I'm done, I'm done. Apparently, sugar, I'm not done with you, honey. We just gotta.
Sugar,
we had this love-hate, sugar, and you know, like we had this love-hate relationship. I'm trying to get out of the sun. So we'll just see another part of this is the forest in the back.
It's lovely.
So yeah, thank you. So I'm saying I would like to kick. So, and Alicia E also kicked her sugar habit. She did both. Yes. I might have to go back and like do some research on that. And it's not to say that I don't want to have sugar. Like, you know, I want to be able to enjoy the birthday cakes when they come around. Or like my dad made a cheesecake while he was up here. It was a double chocolate cheesecake. I want to be able to do those because he doesn't use any fucking like stevia substitutes in there and shit like that. He's using 3/4 of a cup of sugar. Hello. You know, he's using the full fat cream cheese and all that other stuff. So I want to be able to enjoy those things, but it's all the in-betweens, right? When you think about your 80 and 20, 80% of the time you should be on fucking track.
Right.
And then that way it allows for that 20%. My scale's been holding steady. You know, like I said in my challenge journal and everything, like scale's holding steady. The macro factors expenditure is now holding right now. Like I'm at 2073 as of this morning. So, cause like right now it's Shark Week. So Shark Week means I have increased body weight or whatever, and that'll drop down by next week. Perfectly timed for the beach. So thank goodness. I was getting worried. I was like a couple days late. I'm just like, fuck me if this thing is going on during the fucking beach. Right. But like, so I want to be able to kick this habit because like you know, you've had a great success with your recomp right now. And not to say that I'm not recomping too, but like I don't know. It's like weird. Like you ever get that? Like, you know, you started going through it during the challenge or whatever. But like for me, during the challenge, I'm just like, yeah, you know, blah, blah, blah. And now I'm just like, okay, now I'm ready.
Yeah.
Now I'm ready to do something.
Yep. No, I get that. Yeah, because like yesterday, I got 3/4 of the way through the day and I only had 1,200 calories. Now I'm in maintenance, so I bumped my calories up to 1,900 now.
Right.
And I got to the end of the night and I'm like, I got all these calories left. So Brian said, will you make me a mug cake, a protein mug cake? And I said, yeah. And then I went, ooh, I'm going to make myself one. So I made myself one, but I made like his was a protein cake. Mine was just a chocolate chip cookie dough thing.
Yeah.
And it was okay. I mean, I wouldn't do it again, but it cost me because I put it all in and I went, ooh, I'm in my maintenance. And then I realized you forgot to put the butter in. Fuck. Now I'm going to be a little bit over, but whatever.
That's okay to be over and stuff.
It was over a little bit. It'll be over a little bit. So that put me, you know, probably closer to 1950 at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Whatever. That's not going to be an everyday thing, and it didn't do it for me. But I do want to say, along those lines of the things that, you know, yours is sugar and mine is freaking salt. So mine is popcorn, chips, not really crackers, chips. And then we know chips and salsa. And I hit Shauna up this week because I had bought these chips that I really, really like. This local guy makes them. His name's Trey. And they're called salsa shovels, right? Yeah, that was salsa shovels.
I thought it was hysterical.
Yeah, they're really good. They're really good. But 6 chips, and they're little guys. They're not, it's more like the size, maybe a little bit bigger than a Tostito scoop, right?
Yeah.
They're not that big, and they're very oily. So it's like some legit stuff. But 6 of them are 120 calories. 6.
Wow.
And they're thick, but you can't stop at 6, right? So I ate a bunch. Brian had some, but not much. I ate a bunch, and there was a quarter of a bag left, probably. And I threw them in the garbage and took a picture of it and sent it to Shauna. And I was like, I can't believe I'm throwing these away. Like I threw away chips, and not the salsa because I keep salsa, but I threw away chips. Good, and they were expensive as shit. They're not cheap. I threw them away. Bridget Scarborough, threw away chips. Who am I? I don't know. Who am I? Anyway, so I had to say that.
Though.
It's possible to get your fill or more. Honestly, I probably didn't eat as many as I did. And then just throw them away. Okay, so here's the thing that we look at. We go, but I'm wasting this money. Okay, but are you? Did you get what you wanted out of it?
I was going to say.
Would you have paid that for that small amount? I would have. So who cares? Throw it away. Doesn't go here, right? So anyway.
It doesn't go here. It doesn't go in the, hips and all that other stuff.
Yes.
But I think that's like a huge thing though, depending on what your age generation was, right? Because it was always clean the plate, starving people in China, fucking, all this other shit. And it's just like, waste not, want not, all this other stuff, right? So it's just, when does it become enough? Or can you buy in a little bit of a quantity that you want? Sometimes they'll sell cheesecake by the slice, for instance.
Yeah, exactly.
Me and my girlfriends went to the Cheesecake Factory. I think it was on Tuesday or whatever. And I was just like, oh, I was like hemming and hawing. I was just like, I really don't want to fucking go to the Cheesecake Factory. But we were going there with the intention of talking about, what to do. Cause, isn't it ironic?
Going to the bar to talk about how to quit drinking.
Exactly.
The Cheesecake fucking Factory. There's literally nothing there that's healthy. Nothing. So their Skinnylicious menu is huge. I know, but it's still bad.
So Skinnylicious menu. I looked on there. So my one friend who actually was asking for the help, she ordered a salmon, but it wasn't from the Skinnylicious menu. So apparently they have, let's say, their salmon for the regular menu, and they also have their Skinnylicious salmon, right? Prepared differently, whatever, right? So I had gotten, I was going to say grouper, but it's not grouper. It's the other whitefish.
Flounder?
No, it starts with a B. It's like a fucking bass or some shit like that.
Okay.
It's not bass, but it's Bondi
or
something. I don't fucking know.
Yeah,
it's the European thing. So anyway, I ordered that, and I'm like, oh, I was like, but I want the Skinnylicious one. He's like, well, I'm glad you said that. I was like, I didn't even see it on the regular menu because I was just looking at the Skinnylicious one. So I got it. It was good,
Yeah.
But the menu says it's 530 calories, right? Because it came with mashed potatoes, it came with whatever vegetable it was, and then the fish. The fish wasn't a big portion. I'm sure the whole plate was 530 calories. And then my other friend, she just ordered a salad. I was so proud of her though. So this is the one who I keep talking about with the cholesterol thing or whatever. Now, I wasn't proud about her food choice. Let's get that straight. Because all she had was salad. She didn't put any chicken on there because she didn't know how it was prepared. She's like, I'll just eat chicken at home. I'm like, will you though? So for me, you could have told them how you want it prepared, grilled with no extra added fats or whatever, right?
Right.
You could just totally say that. But she just had the roughage. But she was basically spewing out the same shit that I've been telling her for the past few weeks to our mutual friend. I'm like,
right.
You are listening. That's
nice.
Great. But I need you to adhere to it too, right? I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I talk out of both ends of my fucking mouth because I say these things, but then it's just here I am with my sugar addiction that I can't stop. And maybe it's because I stopped alcohol and fucking cigarettes. I don't know.
Right.
So I need to make a plan to, now that I've tracked it for the past month now, and I got my expenditure up in Macro Factor because I'm actually tracking everything that goes in my mouth. Now I'm at the point of, okay, now we need to, clip it in the bud, right? I don't need 400 calories of this extra stuff and just limit it to the 150 because last year during that fall when I was doing the DLB challenge, that's when I saw the most progress. And do you know why? Because I stopped having those little BLTs.
Yes.
I made it a point to not have them. And then that's when I saw my fucking recomp happen.
So 2 things on what you just said. One was you said, I can't stop, right? So this is the language that we use out of habit, right? Out of just the norm.
Yes.
I can't stop. No, you won't stop. It's not that you can't.
Won't stop.
Because you won't stop,
because I want to eat like that overweight fat kid.
So, right? So those are the words that we have to start when you're thinking about habit change. You got to catch those things, which I do too. You know, I didn't
even notice I said it.
Yeah. See, that's what I mean, right? We get so like the word that I loathe and have always loathed is try. I'll try. I'll try.
Yes.
Just tell me you're not going to fucking do it.
Assuming that's automatically saying that you have no intention of trying. Yeah.
I'm just kind of trying to shut you up. So I'm going to say I'm going to try. Yeah. No, don't. And I will look at my clients and I'll be like this. And they'll say, I will. Yeah, that's better. You will. Yeah. I don't want to hear it at all. Yeah. And then the other thing is, okay, we're just saying how I would feel. This is how I would feel. If I was doing the DLB challenge and I was trying to get to this point, it would be because I wanted her to see me and say, fuck yeah, she's a badass, right? I would want her to acknowledge.
Like a validation thing?
A validation, right?
Okay.
So I wonder if your ability to do that in her challenge, but not be able to do it in this one has, you know, if there's any of that in there. Like, can you somehow take that desire that you had in her challenge to tighten things up? Like, why? I know there was a monetary thing at the end.
It was a monetary thing at the end, and I think it was because it was a new challenge, and it was only like 6 or 8 weeks. And by that time last summer, I had already started seeing composition change, not for the better. And now let's recall last summer, like, yes, I was having ice cream every week and all that other stuff. So I was chalking it up to that, but I wasn't really accurately tracking everything, right?
Right.
So I'm thinking in my mind, oh, I'm eating X amount of calories, but I'm not getting what I want from it. And plus, I think I was only doing 4 workouts a week, 3 or 4, and I was already like at a tired stage. I'm just like, ugh, like I was getting bored of it.
Right.
How about that? I was bored. So doing that DLB, I was just like, okay, like, you know, fresh new start and all this other stuff. And then plus I was doing her cardio, which I don't plan on doing. Like, I don't do a lot of that cardio because like I'm already on bike rides for like, you know, hour and a half, you know, or whatever it is. I'm getting in fucking 12 to 15,000 steps. Like now it's a little lower. I'm obviously sitting. I'm feeling a little some kind of way about sitting right now. And that's why I keep moving.
Right.
But then it's just like, I think it was because it was something fresh and new. Like, you know, you get in your honeymoon phase and then like you get in and you get out. And that's what it was. It was like a get in, get out. And I saw great changes because of all those things. But I think the biggest one would have been the sugar. So now she actually just did a real DLB. She did something about how does she live differently now in her 40s than she did before. Now, granted, she's been at this for over 20 years. Okay. She has been lifting. She was a power lifter. She was fucking Miss Olympia, all this other shit. Right. So she has the muscle mass to fucking do this. And she's on the short side, but her cause like she posted a reel about what she's eating in maintenance. She's like, I eat fewer calories now than I did before because I'm not trying to build muscle or anything like that. She's like, I'm maintaining what I got. And she had posted like her calories was like 19 something.
Okay.
And she keeps her protein up there though. So her protein was like at 190 for this particular what I know for what I eat in a day. She posted that. I'm like, what the fuck? So I messaged her. I'm like, hey, just wondering, like, you know, was that like, is that your maintenance right now? Like that you have your protein up so high and like her carbs were like 200 and her fats were at 50. So that's the macros or whatever. And she shows her meals, good amount, good food and everything like that. So like, I also saw another reel that said, you know, the reason why you're snacking is because your meals are not big enough.
Right.
And I'm like, that's interesting too, because I feel like my meals are plenty big. It's just that, and I'm not usually hungry when I'm snacking. That's the thing.
Yeah. I was going to say it's more out of habit and boredom.
It's a habit. Like I open it up. it's sitting there in the face, I'll just grab 3 M&Ms. But then like you keep on opening up that cabinet that's squeaking or whatever. So now everybody knows that you're going in there and you fucking grab 3 more M&Ms. So for me, I know it's a habit. I'm not hungry. And then that makes me also think like, maybe my meals do need to be bigger. I'm kind of hungry right now, but like I had my oatmeal before. And then like I have to plan out the rest of my day. When I have my yogurt with the protein powder, that's just a normal thing I have. That's like close to 500 calories at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like, which keeps me full, right? But then like I also have chicken. And when I have chicken, I have like 6-7 ounces at a time. I don't do the little fucking 3-ounce
That's a lot. That's a lot. I
have a lot of chicken. Yeah. So it's like, that's why I'm saying I'm not hungry when I'm doing these things. It's just out of habit. I just need something in the mouth.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I get you.
So like that, I think that's something I want to work on. And like, I always have this, I don't know if everybody else does this too, or if you do it, but like I'm in my coasting phase of, let me just get to a vacation. And then after vacation is when I'll kick this into gear.
Yeah. And that's okay because you're in maintenance then. So just coast in maintenance and not going over, not being too crazy. And if on vacation you're finding, ooh, I am having more than I normally do, then go walk on the beach, go do something where you're getting extra steps in, just get your knee up a little bit and go to the gym one day because then maybe you won't feel so weird, because you'll get there. And then a couple days in, you're going to go, God, I feel off. Something's wrong. Go do it because it's here.
Yeah.
More than anything, right? That workout,
you want those
then
habits.
You'll feel like, because you're just like, this is who I am. So we have our camper. We're going to be taking it up to Michigan. And the TRX in there, I put resistance bands and we're putting one of our dumbbells in there to take with us. Because I want to make sure that as we're traveling, that we're learning new ways of, let's throw the TRX over that tree. We're going to bust out some moves, just to kind of keep, and maybe obviously it's not going to be to the same extent that what we do at home with the cable machine and all of that, but it'll keep that habit going. Even if we in a week only get 2 or 3 workouts in as opposed to the 4 or 5 that we normally do. And I'm not going to be teaching, obviously. So I'm going to be losing that. So it's just kind of thinking, how can we maintain the habit? Maybe not to this level that we normally do, but we're here, but
you're trying to do something.
We're still trying to do something. So maybe when you go on your trip, you can do that where you're just, I'm going to do one day. I'm going to pick one day to go to the gym and I'm going to play with equipment that I never get to play with and go at an odd hour, go at like, a weird time that, no one else is going to be in there.
Because I'm already, I'm already up early in the morning anyway. So like the last time I went, I was like walking over there. It was like 7 a.m. I was walking over there. The gym was practically empty. I think there was 2 guys in there working out and then the owner.
Yep. Because it's not the sweet spot, right? You got your 5:30 a.m.
Like vacation.
8 a.m.
And it's a vacation fucking town. So it's just like, who the fuck is going to the gym anyways,
Right. That's funny. Yeah. So I think just maintaining that. And, when we're looking at habits, first of all, I get James Clear's Atomic Habit Guy. I get his
I need to read it.
Email. It's so good. It's so good. He's got all these really great quotes and stuff, just kind of things to make you ponder. But it is all about like layering a habit in where you already have another habit, and we've talked about that, stacking your habits and trying to fit it in somewhere where it's just natural and you can do it. It is possible to do it. You just have to take the time to kind of get through that uncomfortableness,
Yes. You have to be willing to actually sit in the uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
And then, and that's why I'm saying, like, I think I became along the way complacent with this habit as opposed to wanting to change it.
Right.
So like those are the things that you actually have to talk through, like talk to your friends about it, right? This is what this podcast is about. So like whenever Bridget and I are talking about things, it's because we're like, what, this is sitting on my mind, let's fucking talk about it and get different perspectives and everything. So it's just like for me, like even after doing like this podcast, like I'll go back and re-listen to our stuff and it's just like, oh yeah, like I forgot about this, or like something that you already heard just said differently. I've said this before, just kind of clicks with you at that particular moment, and sometimes like I feel like, that like that one habit, like the habit for me and like for you, working out is a habit now. I can't go without doing it. Like I feel bad. Like even like when I get back from vacation, I might go to 5 days a week again,
Right.
just because I enjoy it that much, or even the 6 days wasn't bad. Honestly, like I thought I couldn't get used to it. The 6 days, if something comes up, it's a little harder just because you don't have that leverage of a rest day in there. But
Hmm.
I felt like I was growing more. And like Mark was saying it too. So we'll have Mark back on the podcast, but like he goes back to PPL. He's like, I love this split. He's like, it just works for me. He does a couple of strength and then a couple of hypertrophy in there. So like he changes up
Hmm.
the exercises. And I think that's where I like about the PPL that I'm doing is that it's different exercises. So I'm not constantly beating myself up with doing barbell squats, for instance,
Right. Right.
and I've changed, and like sometimes you have to change your exercises in there too. Like, if you love exercising, but like something is not working, you got to tweak it, just like with your
Yes.
nutrition. If
Yes.
you find something that you like, but it's not working a little bit, tweak it. So for me, it's like the BLTs, like I got to tweak that. Otherwise, my nutrition is on point, I would say. Like
Right.
it keeps me here, but I need to become comfortable. So
Yes,
I
because
want to
otherwise it's a
elevate it a
slippery
little bit.
slope. Slippery slope,
Exactly.
you know,
Yeah.
that
And like
it
we're
can get
we're not
away.
doing this shit again.
No.
That's what we like to say. And I know I've been bad about the Instagram or whatever, but like you've sent me pictures, so we're gonna be posting the pictures of before and afters this week. I think everybody has lost weight. I don't know. Like, should we do something like maybe a post a day? I could try
We can
doing
do
that.
that.
I don't know. I was just
Yeah.
thinking about that, like doing like a before and after because those are always telling. Like, this is where I was 2 years ago, and then this is where I am now. And
Mhm.
even me 2 years ago was, I was about 10 pounds lighter 10 years, 2 years ago,
Right.
but I have more muscle now. I'm definitely stronger now than I was two
Oh
years
yeah.
ago, and I feel better. So like, I just want things to tighten up, but then I worry about other things that come along with that, right?
Mhm.
Like I
Well,
worry
yeah.
about like is the loose skin gonna be there, and like how much what's that gonna look like, and
Right.
that's just things that we all worry about. But then like you got to look at the other positive side of that of all the habits that you built up to get to this point, so that
Mhm.
you can maintain it.
Yeah, and to be strong and
Yes.
I was talking to Leighton, my son, the other day, and he was saying, he was there when Brian's mom passed, and he said it was such an awakening in his mind of he's only 29, but he can
Yeah.
see how those choices in life, if you don't reel them in, can put you in a
Yes.
position like that where, your health is so deteriorated because
Yes.
of your lack of movement and healthy food intake that
Yes.
you are, it's just, I think I'm so glad that he said that because I, would love for him to feel at his best and healthiest. So,
Yeah.
it's the habits that we make are going to stay with us throughout life, hopefully,
Yeah.
and if you're really
Good or
serious
bad,
about it,
right?
right? If you're not saying I'll try and you're not saying I can't, right? You're doing the I will and making your best effort. One of the things I said in my essay was that until this year, literally, and I mean, you can see okay, so
Literally.
literally, right? You can see the difference in me from January 25 to now. There's a huge difference. But the
Yeah.
biggest change came this last 12 weeks, literally. So, what changed? I became very consistent with my strength training, very more so than my nutrition, even. The strength
Yeah.
training outweighed, pun intended, outweighed my nutrition. So, even if I was like one day at 18, one day at 20, 2025, 1965, you know what I mean? My
Yeah.
nutrition
Yeah.
calories were like this, up and down. I don't think I ever went over 2100 except for maybe one day when all my girlfriends were here. But so that was fluctuating. I was getting my protein in, but it was the consistent, that's word people, consistent strength training that I was doing that made the biggest change in the last 12 weeks, which you will see in the after pictures. So yes,
Mhm.
big change in a year and a half, bigger change in the last 12 weeks because of consistency. And now that I squirreled, going back to what I was starting to say was I literally put in about 30, maybe. And I would be like,
Really?
that was so hard. Not this time, before. So whenever
Okay.
I would work out over the last 25 years, right? I would put in about that much effort and my legs would start to burn or I'd get tired or I'd feel like my back hurt and I'd be like, I'm done. I've done enough. That's good. And it was literally about a 30%. I don't know why I keep saying literally. It's my word of the day. 30% effort.
Mm.
And now I would say most workouts I'm at least at 90 and then I'm pretending that I have a trainer here that's saying you could do 3 more, do 3 more. You can do it. You're not a failure yet. You can do 3 more. Good. That was good. You know what I mean? So I'm becoming my own invisible trainer. So I'm saying you can do 3 more. So yesterday we were doing rows, seated up in the chair, doing these seated rows. And we had the weight set at 132 on the cable machine, which is way heavy. And the only reason I knew I could do it was because last week Brian forgot to change it back because he's going a little bit heavier on certain things than me. So it was 1 plate. So I went from I was at 121 and I'm working, but I could get 15 reps out of that with full range, full squeeze with a pause at the top, full protraction, doing the whole thing. Well, he forgot to change it back for me. So I sat down and I was like, God dang, I'm getting tired. Obviously, this workout's kicking my butt. I got 11 in at 132. So I went,
nice.
Okay. So I kept it there. And now I know I can get 10 or 11. I'm going, next session, I'm going to go into the one at 141. So that's huge. But here's me in my head. Okay, you're at 10. Come on. You can do 11. Come on. You can do it.
Yeah.
So I think that has been a game changer for me is to give it my all or close to my all. And some days you're not. Some days you're like, meh, I'm just showing up. And that's okay too, because you're keeping the habit. Even if you just walked into the gym and turned around and walked out, it's the habit of going that you're not breaking. Because it's the minute you the minute you stop going down into your, into your basement gym, right? You're like, I'm going to sit up here and scroll or I'll just do this.
We've all been there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I've gone into that basement and I'm just like, I was not in the mood. Not in the mood. And that hasn't happened this year or whatever, but like in the years past, definitely. Like it's just like, do I have to? All right. You get a half-ass workout in, at least you did something, right? But then, like you were saying, like you just get into that, I don't know, like something just clicks and it's just like, you know what, maybe it's a new workout routine.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you got bored, change it up a little bit. It's not that you're supposed to change every fucking week or whatever, because you want to be able to see that you are progressing. But if you're changing it up just enough so that you can actually get excited about something again, fucking do it,
Well, and also I want to say how important this is too. Not everybody that's listening to us is doing a challenge or a diet or a plan or whatever program. Take pictures. You can set your phone up, because I will tell you right now, one of the pictures that Shauna's going to send you, I took just kind of as let me see if I can get this shot in my closet, because the lighting is really good in there. And it was a back shot. And I got that picture and I went, my God, I have changed. And it's like this epiphany where you realize I'm actually changing. Like it's happening. And being able to have those visuals so that you see how hard you're working is paying off and showing up. Because it's one thing for Brian to go, you look really good. He thought I looked good when I was, 40 pounds heavier too, because he loves me.
Right.
But
like, thanks, I appreciate it, but like,
I appreciate that.
Good.
But but you don't acknowledge it until you see those little things. And then it's hard, right? To not become the person that is like overly obsessed with taking pictures and like, oh my God, I want to see how I look and everything, because you're so excited, right? Like I send stuff to you and I send stuff to Kirby, who was on last week, and my cousin Crystal, who has been on before too. Because I'm like, you guys get it. I can say, oh my God, I got it showing, and and you're nerding out about it,
Right,
but I can also see where it would be, hard to not like constantly want to like, oh my God, I want to see my changes. I want to look and look and look. And because it's such a huge motivator when you see that what you're doing is making this.
I constantly take pictures because of that. And then like you have those pictures. So like, let's say a year from now, when you're looking at your pictures from now, thinking that you're like, holy shit, fucking look at the changes I just did. And then a year from now, What
Oh,
are
I
you
can't
going to
wait.
fucking look like?
I can't
Yeah,
wait. I'm so
exactly.
excited now. I'm so excited because I see what 12 weeks just did. 12
That's what I'm saying.
weeks. And I just
Yes.
went. And one of the things that Shauna has said to me for the last 2 years, right? And more specifically in the last year, she's like, the back don't lie. The back don't lie. And so, and that's true. It's like you can have this great, you can pump your arms up, you could suck your belly in, you can lift yourself tall and change all the way everything looks. You're not looking all frumpy and you can flex it. But if you're not putting in the work, your back's going to not show anything.
Yeah.
So I was really happy when I sent her my pictures and I said, so what do you think? And she was like, the back. Woo! I said, all right, then I know. Because Shauna's not going to lie to me. She'd be like, I remember last year, I was like, what do you think? You're like, I don't know. You didn't want to be mean to me, but you're like,
you kind of see the changes,
you kind of, and,
but
I
then,
think
but we can always, there's always the lighting factor. Like, and I saw it even in my pictures or whatever, like when we're taking pictures, like, especially like in the winter challenge, for instance, January is very dark compared to March. You know what I mean? And if it happens to be a rainy day, because like you're trying to get natural lighting or something like that, lighting fucking does a lot. It can hurt a lot. You know what I mean? So if your lighting isn't good, it's hard to tell, right? But then like I'll, post them this week, you'll see the difference. And the lighting wasn't that dramatic for you to say it's one way or the other. You could see it on your body that it's there. So that's the exciting part. Like when you can actually see it for yourself and you're just like, oh yeah. Like, when you're flexing in the mirror and stuff like that. And like, I don't know, people who say that they don't flex, why? I don't know.
I don't know. Well, and the other thing too, for years, and I mentioned this before, for years, I would say it's too bad people couldn't see what they would look like if they lost 25, 30 pounds. Too bad people couldn't see what they would look like. Now we have AI. And Shauna's going to post my side-by-sides to my AI. Now, my AI, my hair is way cuter. It's got, I can't seem to get my hair to look like that, but it's close. But it's, and the shape of my face was more youthful in the AI. Gotta love that. I'm not going to get that face again because I'm, going to be 56 soon. However, feel pretty good about where I got in 12 weeks based on using that AI picture as my goal body. And my arms I'm still aiming for Shauna arms, but I felt really good. Like when you look at the side-by-sides, I'm like, all right, by the end of the year, maybe I'll start to see that definition in my arms. And if not, next summer, this time, I will definitely have it. And I know that now. I know it. And I know that these changes that I have made by embracing strength training the way that I have, that is going to have a lasting impact. My Achilles tendonitis, the only time I ever feel my Achilles is if I have been on my feet all day. Like I was out in the garden yesterday digging up weeds and, using a shovel to get some of these things out that I thought were plants and they got really big. And I'm like, this should be blooming soon. And Brian came up and said, they're all over the hill. It's a weed. I had to dig in to get this sucker out. So when I do stuff like that, then my Achilles will be like, okay, that was a lot. But other than that, it used to be I'd have a lump on each Achilles that stuck out that far, like no joke, that far. And no pain. My SI joint, the only time I notice that is flaring now is when I've done maybe a little too, like yesterday we did heavy hip thrusts. Yeah. And I can tell that my SI joint and my piriformis are like, stretch.
What were you doing?
Back it down. Yeah. What were you doing?
Yeah.
So other than that though, like I'm not as guarded when I pick things up. I can feel the muscles in my legs when I squat down. And one of the things that happened this week, I think I told you about it. I'm pretty sure I did. Yeah, I did because we talked about it. I was in class and teaching my drumming class and the song Shout. Right. I played Shout. And when it goes, go a little bit lower now. I'm not a singer. A little bit lower now. I got down and I full squatted, full knee bend, heels down on the floor and got my butt to the floor.
That's awesome.
And I'm looking at my class and I can only imagine what my face looked like. I look like somebody who had probably been smacked upside the head, the look of surprise on my face. And I yell out, oh my God, I couldn't do that 6 months ago. It's just like, when I got up. So then I had to have this whole moment when we're stretching. And I said, guys, Guys, you have to understand. My hips wouldn't have done it. My ankles sure shit wouldn't have done it.
Right?
You know, and have I changed anything I've done about mobility? Anything? No. I'm doing the exact same thing I've been doing for freaking 5 years with regards to mobility. Not one damn thing that I'm doing now had to do with my mobility. I'm stronger. And that's where it came in. My glutes are stronger, which means that my low back and my hips don't have to work so hard to get me in and out of positions. My quads are stronger. My hamstrings are stronger. I could get down there. Why? Because my quads could hold my freaking body weight up in that fully upright position. I was like, I can go to China now. I can go to China now and use the bathroom. Right? That was the joke.
There you
so,
go.
you know, and so you don't even realize what you're capable of doing. And it's dumb little things like that make you realize, my God, I couldn't do that before.
But it's
Anyway,
like all the building up habits. Just like when I did the back bend.
Yes,
I was just like, oh, for shits and giggles. Giggles, let me fucking try it. Because like there was this, I didn't try the push up or whatever, but like Jillian Michaels had that thing in there where you do a full on back bend and then you do push ups from there. Now I can't get all the way up like that, but the fact that I can curve my spine enough and get my shoulders to hold up.
Yes,
I was just like,
that
holy
looked great.
fuck.
And your feet were flat.
And my feet were flat. Yeah. Because I was like, oh my God, you know, and then like I had to do it again and record it this time just so I could show you guys. I'm just like, holy fuck, look what I just did.
That was amazing. But it's those
just
types
like
of weird things, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So
it's not only the physical attributes, it's like the physical appearance, it's like the things you can do afterwards.
The things you can do and for how long you can do them. And I did a hang for 40 seconds. I did a body weight hang. That's because of my grip. I mean, my hands fall asleep. I've got some neuropathy stuff going on. And I know it's neck. So that's the other thing. Speaking of which, when you see the pictures, when you see the side-by-sides, when Shauna posts them, I want you guys to notice my side-by-side, the forward head posture 12 weeks ago to versus now. And I wasn't trying to fix that in the picture. I wasn't even thinking about it. I was just like standing up and doing things. I was not trying to fix my head. So that is huge. So ladies, this thing that freaks us out right here, this shit that you don't even know you have until you have to look down at your phone and the camera's flipped around on accident and you're like, oh my God. Or somebody gets a picture of you from the side and you're just like, that's how I look. Oh my God. That changes when you are more posturally sound and upright, right? How do you get there? You row. You row. Yes, but rows. Row heavy, row. And because that's the only thing I've changed.
I don't know.
Rows are great. Anyway. Yay for the little wins. Anyway, we should probably wrap it up. So guys, find a shitty habit that you're not loving that you do every day and start working on, you know, you can either be like Shauna and just go, you know, hardcore and get rid of it altogether, or you can just start to maybe play a game with yourself and say, all right, I'm like, we'll use me as example. I'll only have chips and salsa once a week, as opposed to 3 times a week or whatever, you know, and you just start to kind of.
And that's not a bad thing. Like it becomes like that thing that you look forward to as opposed to something that you take for granted.
Yeah, absolutely. You know? Especially if it's hindering your goals, and then find a way to take something that you would like to put into your life and try to sandwich it into something else that you do. So again, whether that's a daily habit that you're trying to incorporate or one that you're trying to put in, you know, weekly, try to sandwich it in between 2 already established habits if you can. So anyway, but yeah, awesome. All right, girl, well, you got anything else you want to finish with before we wrap it up?
I just thought of, I started crocheting and cross stitching because I was trying to stop my snacking habit. That was years ago.
There you
I
go.
just thought of it now.
You're like,
so I'm like, fuck. So like, obviously it didn't work because like I was still overweight and everything because like, you know, but like, I think we should continue to expound habits as we go forward with the podcast and everything, just so we can talk about it. I'll give updates about like, you know, where I'm at with that. And I don't know. That's it. Like, I hope everybody has a good week.
Yeah, you too, girl. All right. Take care, guys. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.